I moved to Seattle from Kansas about 5 years ago. I'm one of those tech brothers all you locals are always complaining have ruined your city. Well, I guess it's my city now. Sorry about ya. One of my favorite things about the Pacific Northwest is the mountains. I try to get away from the city as often as I can. So when I found this cabin on the Skykomish River, I decided I would treat myself to a midweek getaway in the early fall. I arrived this morning. The cabin was very cozy, tucked away among the trees next to the river banks. There was a hot tub on the back deck and Wi-Fi for us tech brothers who only like the facade of roughing it. I put my bags on the bed and decided I'd explore inside before I explored out. There was an extensive DVD collection, but mostly romantic comedies and family movies. Magazines from 5 years ago littered the coffee tables. In a little nook in the bedroom, I found a basket containing a few notebooks and local travel guides. The notebooks were, according to the labels, for guest notes. I smirked and laid down with the most recent one. I probably get a kick out of this. It was mostly what I expected, people talking about their kids and their dogs and how much they loved the hot tub and the river. Pretty boring. I flipped through the book until I got to the most recent entries. It looked like the last guests had written a few pages. October 10th, 2020, 10 p.m. The noises started around 8:30 tonight. At first we thought it was just the rain. We never should have read that book we found in the woods. My eyes widened and I looked more closely at the page. This was a little bit more interesting than the white bread entries before. Well, maybe read is the wrong word. There wasn't enough in any language we understood to actually read. It was nothing but weird symbols and grotesque drawings, except on the very last page, which read in English, "When darkness overtakes the day, that's when OlGooGoo likes to play. Teeth so sharp, eyes so red. Once you see him, you're good as dead." Okay, pretty weird, but whatever. These noises, though. We thought it was dripping rain, but it isn't the right cadence. It sounds more like licking, and every so often there is a crunching sound. Maybe it's just our imagination. We aren't used to the forest, after all. It's so dark and quiet, so every sight or sound seems magnified. As I was closing the curtains in the bedroom, it looked like something was standing at the riverbank. Something vaguely human, but with large horns and big wings folded behind it. My husband says it was a tree. When I looked back, it was gone. Time for bed now. I hope I can sleep. The noises haven't stopped. I chuckled. Clearly someone was getting into the Halloween spirit and having some fun with it. Still, I looked up and through the window in the bedroom at the raging river beyond, and I felt a little uneasy. The sun was starting to set, and the big picture windows did give the impression that someone or something could be watching from the woods. I got up and closed the curtains before continuing reading, just to ease my mind. October 11th, 2027, 45 a.m. The bed in this cabin is wonderfully comfortable. My husband slept like a rock. I, however, kept dreaming about a horned creature standing at the corner of the bedroom, staring at me. My husband said it was just a dream, but when I got up this morning, all of the curtains were opened. My husband says he didn't touch them and I must have left them open last night, but I know I didn't. At least the noises have stopped. We plan to enjoy the hot tub and relax today. October 11th, 2022, 10 p.m. We spent the last hour in the hot tub. Very nice, but I kept seeing something darting among the trees. Even back inside, I feel like I'm being watched. My husband thinks I'm going crazy. Maybe I am. Yeah, I think you probably are. Maybe drink some beer and chill out. This page had started out with the same neat, tight writing of the entry before, but as the page went on, the writing became larger and more erratic, slanting across the page. The last entry on the page was the most haphazard looking. October 11th, 2028 p.m. The noises are back, but now there's chanting too. My husband says it's the neighbors, but it isn't a language we know. I see glowing red lights in the woods. I'm afraid to close my eyes. My husband says I'm overreacting. I don't think I can trust him anymore. Chanting? Now I was really sure this was a joke. However, I strained my own ears in the quiet of the cabin and listened. The sun had definitely gone down now, but it was still raining. I could hear the dripping outside. Maybe if you were losing your mind, it did sound a little bit like licking. I admit that I gasped when I turned the page, even if it was all a joke. The next pages were barely legible, scribbles and symbols and nonsense. I will try to write it the best way I can for you. October 12th, 2028 a.m. I'm supposed to go home this morning. I can't believe I stayed in the woods all by myself all weekend. All of this alone time made me a little paranoid. I'm packing the book I found. It is still wet for some reason, like it has been in the rain all weekend. On second thought, I don't think I will leave. I want to stay here forever. I want to become one with OlGooGoo. The bottom third of that page was just odd symbols that I had never seen before. The next and final page was simply "Goo written over and over again, covering the entire page. I rolled my eyes and closed the guest book. Very funny, people. I got up and tossed it back into the basket with the other books, then rifled through them to see if there was anything good that I missed. Maybe something better than this fake monster story. Behind the travel guides was a small leather book that I hadn't noticed before. Curious, I picked it up. It was strangely wet, like it had been in the rain all weekend.